empathy is, we were talking about this earlier, weren't we, Adam, about buzzwords and catchphrases and all that sort of stuff in the personal development world. And I like to take some of those buzzwords and pull them apart a little bit and challenge myself, us, and our listeners, watchers, followers on how they utilize it. How do they walk their talk when it comes to these things? So let's do empathy today, just for something different in our life.
Okay, bear with me. I am now doing empathy.
And we're empathizing.
And empathize.
So first things first, empathy versus sympathy. Let's just come out hard for the wrong audience to say that in front of. Let's come out the gates, still wrong, of the difference between empathy and sympathy, all right? And really basic. Let's make it really simple, all right? So empathy is understanding and feeling what another person's going through, right? Sympathy is then expressing it. That's it. That's it, simplified. Empathy, you understand it, you can feel what they're going through. However, you create space and you recognize this is about them. And I'm going to leave that space and leave it about them. We cross over into sympathy or sympathizing the minute we do things like starting to cry with them or starting to get angry with them or saying things like, oh my God, I know that happened to me. So when I was, and then you break into your own story about how it happened to you. And I mean, that works well in some instances. You know, it's not about a all or nothing situation. Both sympathy and empathy are brilliant tools.
Yeah.
However, it's learning the importance of both, the difference between both, and when to appropriately use them. So that's how I've broken it down simply. Empathy is understanding and feeling another person's situation or current state. And we cross over into sympathy when we begin to express their situation for ourselves. We make it about us as well. Does that make sense, do you think, Adam? How are you feeling about that?
Yeah. So I actually thought empathy. So yeah, well, let's go empathy first. I thought empathy was, the deeper one where you that seeking to share and feel what the other person is experiencing, and then sympathy was understanding the other person's situation. I thought it was the other way around.
Well, no, because understanding
but not actually like someone's, recognizing someone's pain and hardship.
That's both. Sympathy and empathy is recognizing and understanding what someone else is going through. Sure.
Right. Okay. So that's where. Okay.
Same thing. The only real difference is action, acting upon it, and how you act on it. So if you express, if I can feel, you're venting to me about something crappy that happened, and I'm listening to you and I'm taking it in, and inside I'm feeling, oh yeah. I think I would, I can understand how that would be upsetting, or I can, I'm empathizing and doing my best to put myself in your shoes so that I'm feeling what you might have been feeling. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And then expression is where it changes, is if I then move into you're venting, this is your moment. However, if I then start getting really angry, and go, you know what we should do? We should write a letter and we should do this and I start installing my feelings and my beliefs and my thoughts and my emotions onto it. That's where it becomes sympathy. You sympathize with them. You're like, we're in this together. I'm part of this because, and then you make it about you as well.
Right.
Whereas empathy is actually understanding. It's about you. I'm going to feel it with you, so that I can understand you better. However, it's not my problem or my situation. It's yours.
Okay, Matt. So let me just get this straight. So
Mm.
sympathy is caring about someone's feelings. Empathy is feeling with someone. So sympathy is like standing next to a friend that's in distress, but empathy is like stepping into their shoes, emotionally aligning, with what they're feeling.
Yeah, I guess you could look at it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm
So I
just,
thought the empathy, I always had it down as the closer emotional connection versus sympathy, because empathy is involving that shared experience of emotion, like we're talking about.
yeah, so take that. You're exactly right.
Oh, okay.
However, as a coach, what do you think, would happen, honestly, if as a person was simply just releasing to you and you started crying and talking about how you get it
Oh God.
because you've been through it too, and then you start talking about your story?
Yeah, I'll be like, can I get a refund?
Right? So you've crossed into sympathy.
100%. Yeah.
It's about the action that takes place.
Hmm.
Empathy creates space. So the actual understanding, the feeling, the connection, they can both be just as deep. It's what you do with it afterwards. That's
Okay,
what
that's the
makes the
difference.
difference. Yeah. You got me now?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Love it.
Yeah, because I
Love it.
mean, I mean, I'm a hard ass. They're like, "Oh, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, okay, let me know when you're finished. And okay, now what we're going to do about it? Yeah, not for everyone, I know, but
And yet you are an extremely empathetic person.
yeah,
You very easily connect with another person and feel, you do your best to understand and feel what they're
yeah,
feeling. And so the difference is about creating space. Empathy creates space for it to be their story, their vent, their emotion,
mm,
them. You feel it, you understand it with them. You're
mm.
not in it with them. It's not your problem. You haven't made it about you.
No, it's not.
Whereas when we tend to sympathise, we tend to sort
Actually,
of put ourselves as part of the problem, as part of
yeah,
the issue.
because actually, when I remember when I very first started coaching, I was like, oh God, I'm so like, knackered all the time. I was coaching traders, people that are out there in the financial markets on the battlefield all day, every day. You get a raft of emotional bollocks that comes with that.
Yeah.
And I used to be like, oh God, why am I so tired and fat and tired? And this guy, another fellow coach, I mean, he's been a coach for 40 years or whatever. He was like, maybe he said, you're not facilitating. You're taking it off people and you're holding it. So more facilitate, less holding. And I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
you were
okay.
sympathising rather
Right.
than empathising. So going off what we were talking about in a previous episode, Adam, do you see how
Mm.
that can lead to burnout so easily?
Oh, massively.
Yeah, when we're not dealing with our own shit, it is so easy and quite unconscious to
Mm.
move into that sympathetic role when you're
Yeah.
helping others. And the boundaries become really fluid between what's their problem that they're wanting help with and what's your problem. Suddenly they're like, oh my God, it's the same. And
Yeah.
you're no longer creating space for them. You're just in a big fat space together and it's all out. So, and that leads to burnout because, yeah, you just get so tired with
Mm.
being involved, I guess, in everyone's
Absolutely.
stuff. Yeah.
Everyone's shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's brilliant. Thank you for that great example, Adam. Well done, you. Well
You're
done,
welcome. You're
you.
taking the piss.
No,
Thanks for
not at
that
all. Not
great
at all.
example.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you. Okay. So on to then what I wanted to actually talk about today with empathy was about empathetic communication, how to foster it, how to practice it, how to get into the habit of communicating that way, because it's really powerful, and it's a great way to build connections really quickly. Now, the purpose of empathy is, in a nutshell, there's probably plenty of other ways that people would describe it. In my world, the purpose of empathy is that we all want to be seen, heard, and have our needs responded to. At our core, that's what we all want. We all want that.
Of course.
Yeah. And so I've got here, I've got 4 steps for us to practice in building.
Let me get a pen. 1 second.
Take a note, pen and paper. Let's get ready. I'm about to give you gold here. Give you gold.
Brr.
I'm going to give you 4 steps to practice empathetic communication. And then I'm going to give you 3 banging questions that will allow you to build empathetic rapport.
Okay.
In like that.
Well, that just sounds marvellous, Alison. We're all waiting with bated breath.
See, now who's taking the piss? Eh?
I'm not taking. I'm being deadly serious.
Oh, I hear it, Adam. I hear it. All right, let's do it. So let's talk about the 4 steps first, okay?
Yep.
The first one, really basic, it's eye contact. Eye contact is so, so important. Remember what I just said? I said that one of the biggest things about empathy, the reason we want to empathize with others is because we want to be seen. So eye contact becomes a really big point here. Being able to say, I see you. It's huge. So that's the first thing.
No, I see you because you're huge.
No. No.
That would not be empathy, Adam.
I see you. And, I'm one of those people as well that I dislike talking to people if I've got sunglasses on.
I thought, what you were going to say? I dislike talking to people if they're not good looking.
No, that's you. I'm just a
Yeah. Why am I here?
Ow.
You are fucking beautiful, by the way. Isn't she, ladies and gentlemen?
Stop. Thank you. Thanks. Eye contact. Keep eye contact and really connect with someone. Okay? Be looking at them. The second one that leads on from that is being fully present. Be watching, be present, be there with them. Get rid of the distractions. Simply be with that person in that moment. Now, one of the biggest things about being present that you can practice is watching facial expressions. I love facial expressions. I've read a few books by Dr. Paul Ekman. Great, modality to learn, and do yourself a favor, get onto it. He talks about micro expressions. Now, the thing about facial expressions, which is really, really cool, is that the fight or flight response, right? That's actually located in your brain stem, which is the oldest part of your brain, okay? And the other thing that's really cool is that the same area where the nuclei form for your tone of voice and your facial expressions is where the fight or flight response is. It's in the same area.
Right.
So what that means is that when we get emotionally activated, our tone of voice and our facial expressions, they kind of leak out without us even trying. Our facial expressions are like a map of our emotions. They leak out, and it becomes, people work very hard to cover up their facial expressions and to not have those emotions leak through. And so if you can really connect with another person, be present, keep eye contact, and really just watch their face, things will leak out unconsciously. Actually, that sounds terrible the way I said that.
I was like staring at someone's face and things leak out
Should have a
unconsciously.
leak down here. Oh, Ali, you've got a little something.
Get the pad.
Something.
Yes.
That is not
we
what
should
I
get
meant.
sponsored by adult diapers.
And
Tenor lady.
Why not Kleenex as well for a little bit of leakage from the schnog?
Oh, marvellous. That didn't take long.
So the leakage I'm talking about is emotional leakage. Adam, thank you.
Thanks for clarifying.
So in our facial expressions, our posture, our body language, and of course our tone of voice, it's going to give away our secrets. And so the only way that you can really practice getting to know that is being present when you talk to people so that you've got something to calibrate on. How do they sound when they get excited about something? Or how do they look? How does their mouth shape change? Where do their eyes smile or do they squint? Or all these little ticks and differences will tell you what's really going on under the surface for that person. So we've got eye contact.
This is sensory acuity, right?
It's sensory acuity.
This is what we teach.
It's what we teach, exactly. Yeah. The third one is allowing.
Mind you,
yes.
I think it's probably key to say, because I love this subject, by the way.
Good.
Because it's so key, but it's so quick.
Yes.
When we say micro expressions, it literally is emphasis on the micro.
Exactly.
And it will generally happen like right before the thing. So someone goes, "Oh, yay!" But they go, you see them kind of
exactly. Yes.
Switch something first. Those are the key. So just to kind of go there, it's the micro bit that's the key.
Micro is
pay attention
key.
To.
Exactly. Yeah. And you're going to...
You've really got to get present yourself and be like, okay.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Eye contact, be present. Because if you are distracted, even for a second, you will miss the micro expressions. They're that quick. And it takes practice. I practice watching people on TV.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, same. So that's the first two. The next one is practicing. Again, these are all about practicing. These are building muscles, okay? The third muscle we're going to build is allowing others to express their emotions without forming judgments, which can be really difficult when someone is venting or upset or, whatever emotions they are sharing with you. Again, about creating that space where they can simply let those out. Better out than in, right?
Yes.
Let them out without forming a judgment of, oh gosh, I think that's a bit of an overreaction. Well, it's none of your business. Let them have the moment. Let them get it out. And then if you want to go further and have, further discussion about it, by all means. However,
it's always better to let them get it out first so you can see it.
Yeah. And because you don't know the whole story. You don't know their values, their beliefs, their hurts, their pains, their background. You don't know all of that. So simply let them.
Very, very good point.
Let them be.
Yeah. Let them theory. Yeah.
And then the fourth practicing muscle is to pause before responding. It's huge. Let me tell you why. The pause has a few different spurs on its rig there. The first one is that when you pause, you give your mind a moment to filter what's just been said to you and to formulate a response. Because the truth of it is, many people, when you're having a discussion, they've switched off halfway through your discussion because they're already starting to formulate their response.
Yeah.
So they're already, oh yeah, look, I've got a thumbs down little bubble in my thing. Because they're already forming their own response, they're no longer listening to you. They're not connected to you anymore. They are totally in their own space, their own head, etc.
Yeah.
So the pause, it gives you the opportunity to actually be fully present in what the other person's saying. Take a pause, let it filter, formulate what you want, and speak with volition then. Mean what you say. That's a sexy word, and I love it. Yeah.
Yes. Please tell us what that means, Alison.
Volition, purpose. Mean what you say. Volition. Oh,
Energy.
woo!
Yeah, say it with volition. Like, I love you.
I love you.
I love you.
That's volition.
Yeah, baby.
So that's one great reason for the pause, that allowing yourself a filter. The second one is a you're welcome moment. Because many people, myself included once upon a time, they get very uncomfortable in silence.
Yeah.
If no one's talking, the brain starts to go then, especially if you've just said something and the person's not responding immediately. The insecurities can bubble to the surface very quickly. Why aren't you saying anything? Oh my God, I've said something stupid. Oh my God, you think I'm an idiot. Oh my God, I'll just walk away. And suddenly it's gone. All because we have become so unaccustomed to being comfortable with silence. We need to fill the space. And I used to be very much like that. If there was a space, well, shit, I better put a joke in there. I better get the room laughing because this is making me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the pause, it allows yourself and the other person a beautiful opportunity in a safe environment to get a little bit more comfortable with silence.
And of course, it's okay to kind of, in order to, if you're talking to someone and you just start going, thinking, they're like, what are you doing? I'm thinking, I'm pausing. But to by yourself, because I do it a lot, and so just let me think about that for a second, and just buy yourself the time.
Yeah.
To pause, because pausing, people do that can also aggravate people. Like, oh my God, what are you doing?
That's what I mean.
I'm just pausing. Chill out.
What a great learning opportunity.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. That's a gift. And because what comes from that gift is while they're freaking out, what are you doing, Adam? Oh my God, say something. Ah, you're judging me. Then when you come...
Maybe I am, maybe I'm not.
When you come back from the pause and you're not judging them.
Yes, never.
When you come back from that pause and they can see that, oh, you actually just did think about it.
Yeah.
Look at the lift that you will give that person, because you've now provided them with evidence that not every silence, not every pause is a bad thing. That it can be a good thing too.
Most people in their communication get the silent treatment, don't they? Like the partner will be like, well, I'm not going to talk to her or him for 2 days.
It's a punishment, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, wow.
Yeah. So what a beautiful...
This is great.
Beautiful
this is great.
thing.
Yeah.
Now, the third prong or spoke or whatever other metaphor I was using for the reason that the pause is so good is something you just actually started to lean towards. I thought we were getting there, is the confidence that it can put in the connection with that person when they actually understand that you are considering what they're saying.
Yeah.
You haven't switched off halfway and coming in with your own thoughts and feelings. You've actually listened to them fully. And you're saying, I respect what you say, I respect you. And so I'm going to take a moment to really think about what you've said so that I can mean what I say.
Yeah.
There's so much respect in pausing.
Deep rapport, yeah.
It's deep rapport and respect because you are thinking about what they've said and you're thinking about how you're going to respond. Instead of it being that off the top of your head, didn't really listen to what you said retort,
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, it's very often I had a situation the other day where I did a very long pause, like to the next morning.
Like 3 days.
Yeah, no, just to the next one. I was like, something happened that really, after thinking about it, was not as dramatic as it was the night before when I was in it. It's always best to not respond immediately. I learned that from other people doing it to me when I'm like, oh, well, what are you going to do? I'm like rattling their cage.
Yeah.
Absolute silence until the next day, sometime, or a couple of days, or even still to this day, that I've still not had an answer about things that happened
Still
10
waiting.
years ago.
Yeah.
You're still waiting. But like you said, that, yeah, but you do get to really choose how to respond. And that's the key that you just said, right? Just to highlight that to everybody. Choosing how you're going to respond, majority of the time you realise it's not that bloody important, really. And it's best just to leave it. And if you choose to do the, you know what, I'm going to be cool about this with this person instead, because they're probably expecting you to go nuts. And if you don't, you get to emotionally regulate. They kind of, and like you said, it's that kind of like, actually they were cool about it. As long as there's that respect thing, the mutual respect there. I think it's emotional, what's the word? Regulation, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And you've built up,
which
then
everyone struggles with.
It is.
And it's actually simple.
It's not taught. We're not, and most of our parents did not model it effectively for us to learn.
Yeah, mine didn't.
No, same.
No.
So we're a generation that's really only just learning even what it is and then how to do it. And we're making mistakes as we go. We're learning as we go. So emotional regulation is a simple concept, not as easy to put into action because we're so programmed and conditioned to respond from emotion.
Yeah.
And that quick reaction rather than response. So the pause allows us that moment to breathe, to think, and to respond and to have that choice, as you said. So it's really, really important. So that's
which is all connected to building empathy, connection. All of this helps. With all that stuff, doesn't it?
Exactly. All four of these things: eye contact, being fully present, allowing another to express their emotions without forming judgments, and pausing before responding. All four of these things will facilitate the other person feeling seen, heard, and having their needs responded to. You think about the amount of times when if we think back, all I really wanted was to just be able to vent. That's what I just needed someone to listen to me. That's it. I don't want them to fix it. I don't want them to give me solutions or ideas. Or I don't want them to go into bat for me. Just let me get it off my chest. So when I say about having our needs responded to, it's also working out what is that individual person's needs, not what you think their needs are. Because again, that's sympathy, not empathy. Yeah? So all those four things bring about that a person feeling seen, heard, and having their needs responded to, which is empathy. Beautiful.
Love it.
So shall I tell you my 3 banging questions?
Yes.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah,
let's do it.
Okay, so here's the 3 questions that will allow you to practice listening, practice curiosity, practice pausing, practice all those 4 beautiful muscles we just talked about, and holistically then practice empathy and building up that empathy muscle within yourself. The first question, and language is important. Adam and I will bang this home till the day we pass on. Language matters.
Big time.
Big time. So the first question is, what's going on in your life right now? So that is a very different question to, how's it going?
Very different.
Even how are you? How many of us, when someone says, how are you going? Yeah, good, mate, thanks.
Yeah, and it's
It's,
actually not true
it's
at
not
all.
true. It's, it's just what you throw out there. Whereas if someone actually meets you with eye contact and says to you, what's going on in your life right now?
Mm,
A different part of your brain will respond to that.
yeah.
And you'll get deeper answers, deeper connection,
Mm.
everything deeper, deeper,
Yeah, yeah,
deeper.
because you have to answer. Your brain goes, you got this and that. You don't just go, oh, this and that. If someone's kind of aware, but generally people go, well, you know what? Today is my daughter's this and that birthday. You start to get all those kinds of things, don't you?
Exactly. And it even gives
Mm.
you scope, though. If I were to ask you, Adam, what's going on in your life right now? And you said, oh, this and that. Tell me what this and that is.
Yeah.
And I'm
Ooh,
leaning
what's
in.
this and what's that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I lean in and I meet your eye gaze. I'm not letting you just faff me off with a this and that, see you later. I'm like, tell me what this and that is.
Yeah.
And here we go, we get into it. So that's question 1. What's going
Mm-hmm.
on in your life right now?
Love it.
So then once you get that out, the second question is, how do you feel about it?
Oh, it's my fave. It's my fave.
What a question. And that's the question that's going to allow them to unburden themselves. Yeah. And this is
I was using this one with someone yesterday because I actually use it all the time. How do you feel about that? Well, how did that make you feel? And you see people go, how do I feel about it? Because they're not connecting with that hardly.
Exactly.
That's such a big question. And this person went, well, I don't feel it in my body. I feel it in my mind. And I was like, where's your mind?
Over here.
And they were like, it's in my body. I was like, okay, so it's at the top of your body.
And here we go.
Oh yeah.
We're so disconnected, aren't we, Adam, from
Yeah.
Really connecting to ourselves. What does something feel like? It's a total new concept for many people because we learned to shut ourselves off and become disconnected people.
Yeah.
So that we can get on.
The world we live in is teaching us to be disconnected. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So that question, how do you feel about it, is a beautiful question. And then you pause and let the person just unburden without judgment.
Yeah.
Feel it all. Let's go.
Oh.
And then the third question, what are you doing about it?
Yeah.
Great question then. And you can see the difference there between empathy and sympathy. Because by the time you get to that third question, the person's told you what's going on in their life. They've told you how they feel about it. If you're in sympathy, you will start giving them options. You'll start having ideas of what they should do. You've made it like your own scenario and you're in there going, yeah, let's do this. I'll help you. Empathy wants to know, what are you doing about it? Because then what you're helping the person see is their options.
Yes.
Because when
conversations of possibility.
Possibility, exactly. Because when we are disconnected, we tend to look through a very narrow lens and we don't see possibility. We see the things that we tried, or we see something that didn't work, and that's it, we're done. No, I've tried that, didn't work. Stupid. And we tend to cut ourselves off or give up or just take it on as a label that, well, that's me now.
Yeah.
And so being able to ask someone, what are you doing about it? Then you have more information. You find out, where are they? Well, have they just tried one thing and then they've given up? But it gives you scope then to move with them and explore, allow them to explore possibilities,
Yeah. Yeah. I used to say, what have you done about it?
Love it.
What have you done about it?
Yeah.
Nothing. That's a bit harsh, though. To start off with. So this way round, I think like you're doing it, and what are you doing about it?
It's a great,
It's
yeah,
a slightly different ball game, yeah.
it is. And language, like we said, language matters. Because when you use the word doing, it presupposes that you're taking action right now. And so that is where it can also get people a little bit out of the funk. Because if they have done something in the past and it didn't work, many of us can quite quickly stick our head in the sand then and go, well, no, not doing anything now then. Didn't work. And so we sort of, spit out our dummy and unhappy. So then when you change the language to what are you doing about it? The first thing that can come to people's mind is, nothing. So then now they're starting to see, wow, okay, I'm doing nothing about this, and yet it's affecting me so much. It's making me feel all the things that they just told you they're feeling. So it can actually start to get someone's mind moving toward an action and possibility and expanding and creating something different for themselves. I think one of the main things I love about empathy and practicing all these things is that when we feel seen, when we feel understood, we start to relax our defenses, with someone. We feel like they get us and that they're listening to us and they see us. So we relax the defenses, which means effectively we're moving out of that fight or flight response part of our brain, which is where so many people live 24/7. Hence so much anxiety, so much depression, so many mental unwellness comes from the amount of time that we spend in our day-to-day life simply surviving in fight or flight.
Yeah.
And that's it all links in with like what you're talking about before, emotional regulation, disconnection, programming that's no longer effective for us as adults, all these sorts of things. And so empathy, I feel, is a skill that costs nothing to learn how to use on yourself and with other people to start creating deeper connections and understanding with our fellow humans.
Yeah. You just, and I think it's a big point to drive. Everything starts here. Want to be more compassionate? Be compassionate with yourself. Want to be more empathetic? Empathize with yourself. The communication all starts here before it goes out.
Absolutely.
It's always the best place to start. Sometimes that's a little bit weird and painful and stuff, but you get through it.
Absolutely. I love that.
It's beautiful afterwards, isn't it?
Yeah.
Always.
And so important.
It's always beautiful afterwards.
It's, that's actually the foundation of everything, Adam. Because how can you effectively know how to empathize with another person truly until you know what it feels like yourself?
Yeah.
You have to try before you buy.
I'm all good with that.
All for that. So brilliant. So that was our 4 steps to practicing empathetic communication and our 3 questions to build empathetic rapport.
Fabulous.
Love it. Brilliant. Please drop us a line if you have any questions about anything we've discussed today. Comment on this post if there's anything you'd like to expand on or want us to expand on. Remember to like and subscribe because we are like and subscribable. That's a word.
Yes, we are.
And otherwise, we're out. We'll see you next week, yeah?
Later.
Bye for now.
Bye. See ya.